Hey, what's going on, everyone? I know it's been a while since I've put out one of these videos, but I figured since we're technically on spring break, we've got a little bit of free time, I might as well start making a few more videos on personal finance topics. Um, anyway, gonna go ahead and start up one of those in a minute. The only other thing I wanted to share with you guys is just a quick reminder: make sure next week you really start paying attention to the messages and information that are being put out on View, Canvas, and the Remind app. I'm going to be starting to post information on how I plan to communicate with you once online learning starts, and then what your expectations are going to be once that starts. We won't start next week, but the week after, it's going to start getting real again. So next week is when you guys got to start paying attention. Anyway, hope you enjoy this video. We're going to talk a little bit about the various services that a bank can offer you. Hope you enjoy it, and yeah, let's check it out. All right, guys. So I figured that the easiest way to show you guys about the different services that banks offer is to just take you to a common bank website and then click around and explore a little bit. The bank that I went to, the website that I went to that I'm going with is my bank that I use, Navy Federal Credit Union. I'm just most familiar with their products and their services and what they offer. So you can see up here, right? I'll go ahead, draw a little line. That's Navy Federal. That's the name of the bank itself. You've got all the different options that they offer up here, and we are going to explore those in just a moment. One other interesting thing to check out when you look at any bank's website or when you start banking in general is this thing right here, the routing number. The routing number is specific to the bank that you work with. You'll also find this number at the bottom of a check if you get a checkbook from your bank. Anybody who banks with Navy Federal Credit Union is going to have this routing number. It's the account numbers that we all have that are going to be a little bit different. We'll talk more about that a little bit in another video, but just know one of the things specific to your bank is the routing number. All right. So other things you can see here on the home page of the screen, they have some offers that they're showing us. Other things you'll see whenever you roll down, you always see the little advertisements that they're offering and the different products that they're putting out there. Don't get overwhelmed by these whenever you start looking at a different bank, bank options for yourself. Notice right here, first option that it has is for you to sign in. I'm not going to log into my mobile banking, but just know that Navy Federal and most banks out there have mobile banking from a computer. Most of them also have an app that you can use that's going to be pretty user friendly. I'm just not going to sign in now because we don't need me sharing all my personal information with you guys. Another thing to check out here is if I click the link for branches and ATMs, you can see it takes me to a map where you can explore where you can find branches or ATMs that are part of this specific bank's network. So Navy Federal's network. If I click here, and I'm just going to type in Williamsburg, Virginia, and hit enter, it's going to go ahead and take a moment to load. But then we can see here all these different blips on the map right here. So this map you can see extends from about New Kent down to Newport News, but we're going to go ahead and zoom in a little closer. And actually, before I zoom in, notice the little colors of the dots that they have here. So a green bubble would represent an NFCU ATM. A blue bubble represents a branch, and an orange bubble represents a free ATM. We'll talk about those in a second. But if I zoom way in, you can see it has the location of the Navy Federal Credit Union branch here in Williamsburg. So I'm going to go ahead and just go zoom in. This is being a little bit slow for us right now. Apologize for that. But yeah, without getting too far into the weeds, I'll let you guys know this is over in Newtown. You can see the branch location in blue there. I can click on it. It gives me the information. Located in Newtown at Settlers Market. It's right there next to the Trader Joe's. So again, pretty much any bank website is going to have the info on where you can find their actual bank locations. The other cool thing here are the free ATMs. So let's say I click on this one right here. All right, you can see that one is a walk-up ATM right at the Newtown Shopping Center on Courthouse Street. There's also another one here at the Publix, which is just down the road there on Monticello. But anyway, what's cool about those is those ATMs are considered part of Navy Federal Credit Union's network, which means they're free for you to use. A lot of you are probably pretty familiar with using an ATM and seeing the fact that when you go in, you put your card into the ATM machine. If it's not part of your bank's network, they're going to charge you a $3 fee usually to use that ATM. Well, the good part about this website is you can look and see if you bank with Navy Federal, you can find all these different ATMs that are going to be free for you to use and pull out cash from them. So I can see another one here, right? The 7-Eleven on John Tyler Highway. Pretty cool feature on their website. I really like that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and come on back to the main page for Navy Federal Credit Union. If we scroll down, you can see also on their homepage some of the featured products that they offer. I'm not going to go into the details of these because I'll cover them more later. But just understand, these are the main products that they're advertising. And then the last thing that's interesting about this is to click on this one right here, which is to become a member. Now, this is one unique aspect of something that we call a credit union, as opposed to a bank. Navy Federal Credit Union is an example of a credit union. It is not a corporate bank. There's a difference between the two of them, which I'm going to cover in my next video probably. But the big thing to know is that there are certain membership requirements for credit unions. So in the case of Navy Federal, as you can see here, you have to be either a service member or a veteran, a civilian employed by the Department of Defense, or a family member of one of those people. All right, so let's start exploring some of the various options that they have, some of the products and services that the bank offers for you, because it's going to be more than just your simple checking and savings accounts. There's a lot of stuff that the banks will offer for you. You just have to go in and explore what they have. So first of all, if I go to checkings and savings, all right, the most basic thing that they'll have, I'll go ahead and click here, is going to be checking and debit cards. Now you can see that they have these different types of checking accounts. So it depends on who you are and what type of lifestyle you have. They also include here what different things they offer in their checking accounts, such as, you can see, debit cards, no service fees, online banking, traditional checks, various other options out there, right? Now, the other cool thing that you can see is they have different types of checking accounts. Your checking account, remember, is your spending money, the account where you keep that. And your debit card is going to be linked to that, as are the checks that you write. But they have different levels of checking accounts. For instance, free active duty checking. Well, that's their basic checking account for active duty military members. And you can see all of the things that it offers up there. Right? Free easy checking, that might be for someone who's not an actual active duty member, but you can see all of these different features that it has. One of the cool things, no minimum balance. That means there's no minimum amount of money that you need to keep in that checking account. I'm going to go ahead and escape from that advertisement right there. Oh, and here we go. Another easy one, interesting one, free campus checking. So you can see right here, this is a checking account that is marketed specifically to college students. This one looking, you can see they're banking for members ages 14 to 24, including things like ATM rebates and then no monthly fees and no minimum balance. Some of the cool stuff they have. All right, free everyday checking. Then it gets to some of the more interesting levels. For instance, Flagship Checking. This is kind of like the Cadillac of their checking accounts, right? You can see Flagship Checking here. It earns slightly more interest for you, which is pretty interesting. but also no monthly fees as long as your balance remains above a certain amount. So you can keep this checking account and earn interest with it, but as you see, you have to have a minimum balance of $1,500 or more. All right, next link I'm going to click on is their debit card offers. All right, you can see here they will offer certain debit cards. All right, debit card, remember that is the one that you would use at the ATM. So if you want to withdraw money from an ATM, or if you just want to make a purchase at the store, push the card into the little chip reader and then buy something, that money comes directly out of your checking accounts. Let's go ahead, back up, and just see what else they offer here. So that was the checking and savings, checking and debit. Let's take a look at their savings accounts. All right, so remember I've talked before about your simple savings accounts. These are usually a place that you would set aside some money so that you're not tempted to spend it. Usually something good if you're trying to save up for a short-term goal, or if you're just trying to keep money in savings in the event of an emergency. All right, a good one here is basic savings. You can see here, very basic information that they offer about it. Education savings, these are ones where they have ones that if you're using it specifically for education savings accounts. Save first, all right, this is something if you're trying to reach a specific goal. All right, you open with a certain amount of time, and then you can actually choose a term that you would like to keep that from 3 months to 5 years, and then continue making additional deposits. And then finally, we have here estate management. These are just different things where you can hold money in a trust for someone else. All right, so those were your simple savings accounts. Remember, I talked about them in another video. Remember, I also talked in that other video on your types of savings about certificates of deposit. I'm going to put a link to that other video just up here in a second. But, all right, certificates of deposit. Remember, this is where you put the money in the bank for a standard period of time, and you leave it in there without touching it. You're not allowed to withdraw that money early until once that term is up, then you can pull the money out. And it usually earns a higher rate of interest. It grows more for you. Now, the benefit of this, you're not tempted to touch it, so it's really good for saving for, say, a medium-term goal. Like, let's say you want to buy a new car in 2 years. Well, you can keep that money set aside in that account. So you can also see here they offer different levels of certificates. Standard certificate right here. Certificates allow you to plan out your savings by providing guaranteed returns that you can access on a set maturity date. Right, and you can see their APY, which is their interest rate, is as high as 1.55%. Terms between 3 months and 7 years. And then the last important information that you need to see with these is that the minimum amount that you need to put in has to be at least $1,000. All right, 3-year variable rates. This is where the rates, variable rate, by the way, means that they can go up and down. So the rates are going to be a little bit lower. And you can see right now the interest rate on those is as high as 0.46%. Minimum deposit around $500. And then it's a 3-year term. You can see they have all these different levels of certificates of deposit. Pretty interesting. And then if you wanted to learn more about them, you could click on the link there. But we're going to move along from them. Let's talk about the last type of savings account that we discussed in the other video, which is money market accounts. All right, so you can see in here, these are some of the different money market savings accounts. Remember, these are high liquid accounts. You can pull the money out of them pretty easy, and they earn more interest than a simple savings account. So you can see the different money market account levels that they have depending on the amount of money that you have in that account. If you have between $0 and $9,999, it'll earn an annual percentage yield of 0.6%. Trust me, that's a lot better than a simple savings account. And your interest rates that you earn go up depending on the amount of money that you have saved in that account. Now, if you wanted to go jumbo, apparently, and put in over $100,000 in one of these accounts, you can go ahead and put those in and earn even more interest. And again, they have those options of the different savings account options. Also, you can see the differences between the three: simple savings, money market savings accounts, and then certificates of deposit. Pretty cool stuff. Then when it comes to savings accounts, again, they have other options out there. For instance, retirement savings. We'll just click on this real quick. Not going to go too deep into it. But, retirement savings, these are investment options, individual retirement accounts, both traditional and Roth. We'll talk about those in another video. And then also education savings accounts. All right, so these are some of those different options, like investment accounts that can go towards, if you have a son or a daughter, you have a child, you can build up a savings account that will be used in the future for their college tuition. All right, and these are generally investment accounts that will earn you a somewhat higher rate of interest. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, lastly, you can see here they also offer their prepaid cards and gift cards. We're not going to go in deep on that. Another interesting thing that they offer, direct deposit. Let's talk about direct deposit for a second. So direct deposit, what that is rather than getting a physical copy of a check from your employer and then having to take that check to the bank and cash it, instead, what you can get is that employer will wire the money from your paycheck directly into your account. So it removes that layer of having to take the physical check into your checking account. All right, direct deposit will usually be linked to your checking, although sometimes you can link it to your savings as well. And through your bank, you can set that up along with your employer. All right, so those are the checking and savings accounts options that they have. Let's talk about the next thing that banks can offer you: loans and credit cards. All right, credit cards are something a little bit different, and we're going to explore them a little bit more in another video that I'm going to create in a few days. But just know they have a ton of different credit card options for you. All right, I'm not necessarily going to go into the weeds of this, but just so you know what a credit card is. Credit card is different from your debit card. With a debit card, when you buy something, you swipe that card, and then the money comes directly out of your account. With a credit card, you buy something and you are borrowing the money for that purchase and making a promise to pay it back later. Banks will typically offer credit cards for you. And if it's from a credit union like Navy Federal Credit Union, oftentimes the interest rates that you have to pay back might be better. All right, when it comes to other things, you can see also loans that they have. Now, the difference between a credit card and a credit card is what I call an open revolving line of credit. That means I use it when I want and I pay it back whenever I want. I'm not on any fixed schedule. I just use it as I want to and pay it back as I want to. I can pay back some, I can pay back all. It's an open line of credit. A fixed line of credit is something like a loan, where you borrow a specific amount of money for a certain purchase and agree to pay that loan back later. We're going to talk more in detail about those later, but you can see just by hovering over the link here, the loans that Navy Fed offers, they'll offer auto loans, which are used, of course, for buying a car. They'll offer mortgages, which are used for buying a house or buying property. Personal loans, which can be used for any sort of personal reason. It might even be involved like with setting up a business or something like that. Student loans, which of course many of you are familiar with the importance of those. Those are for college tuition. And then home equity loans, which is something a little bit different. That's where you take out some ownership of your home and lend some money and use that ownership of your home as collateral. We're not going to go into that for today. Lastly, you can also see some loans that they'll offer. Heck, I'll click on it just for fun. All right. You can see they offer loans specifically for motorcycles, boats, and RVs. Um, when you're looking at loans, again, you want to consider how long is it going to take that loan to pay back? How much are you borrowing? And then what kind of interest rate? What kind of APR are you getting on that loan? I.e., how much extra are you going to pay back in interest? So just for fun, again, we'll click on the student loans section. And you can see they offer loans for graduates and undergraduates. Whenever you see APR percentage, that is the interest rate that you're going to have to pay back per year on top of that loan. And they offer all different kinds of loans. We're not going to go too much into the details of that. All right, next, talking a little bit about the services. So, first of all, when it comes to security with the banks, just remember when it comes to banking and having credit unions, your money is going to be protected there. You are not going to lose money because up to $250,000, it is insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC. But they have all sorts of different protection options. All right. Ways to manage your security. Again, they look out for things like credit and debit card fraud, online security, ATM security. Again, this is just them showing some of their security options that they have. Other things to know is a lot of times these banks and credit unions, they will offer you what's called a safety or a security box, where if you have certain valuables that you want to keep locked away in a lockbox, they'll keep them there. All right, other things, mobile banking, again, that's through your phone. Online banking, that's through a computer. And it talks a little bit about their branches and ATMs, as well as the banking services they might offer for businesses. When we look at resources, this is the last thing, second to last thing that I'll show you. Again, you can just look on their website. They'll have some articles here about just, various different topics. Since it's Navy Federal, they offer articles about military life. Calculators, right? You might be asking, why do they have calculators on a banking website? Well, for these, again, you can see how much will your mortgage cost, your monthly mortgage payment. How much will an auto loan cost you per month? How much will it cost you for credit card debt management? Things like that. They can even put together something like a budget, right? So how much should you be spending on different things like your rent or your car per month? All right, lastly, again, this shows membership, again, what it takes to become a member of Navy Federal Credit Union. And we'll talk about that difference when we talk about the differences between banks and credit unions in my next video. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it was a fair amount of information. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment about it or just, send me a message directly. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy out there. And again, I'm glad to get back on making these videos for you guys. Let me know what you think, all right? If you think they're stupid, if you think I should be doing something different, let me know. But you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. I'll see you next time.